no loot lockouts on Mists of Pandaria, LFR, and Dragonflight. So there you go. Check it out. If you didn't know, now you know. LFR will not be loot locked, so you can get in these and repeat them over and over. If you've been wanting to get some different maybe tier sets, some certain things, maybe pets as well from some of these raids, you can do that. Just kind of rerunning these LFR runs over and over. So again, for cosmetic purposes, you know, time running Pandemonium, that's really what it's all about, is leveling up alts and getting cosmetics. Well, you can continue to do that in the real game, right? Getting with your regular Dragonflight characters. So again, no lockouts. What you want to do if you want to queue up for some of this stuff, you'll find Lore Walker Han atop the Mogushan Palace, and you'll be able to go through an LFR queue with him. So get in there and get those things done if you want some transmog. Cross-faction looking for group has been eliminated. As much as we all bitched about the, you know, blurring of the faction lines, the truth is, no factions has really created, you know, better queues for everybody. That's really the reason why it was done. The game population had dropped off a bit, and we needed the cross-faction rating and things like that to happen so we can get better queues. Well, without any notes, very interestingly, no hotfix notes on this, nothing. Blizzard just came in and did it in a quick hotfix. They eliminated the ability to do cross-faction grouping. So yes, if you were doing it before, this will make queues a little bit longer, potentially. Depends on how many people are still playing Remix. But it will certainly not be as quick as it once was. And why did Blizzard do this? We have no fucking idea. I have no idea who approved this back at Blizzard HQ. Who thought that preserving the factions from Mists of Pandaria, because that's how it was back when that game came out. And this is the thing is, this isn't a classic mode of the game, right? This is a remix version of the game, and part of that remix could have been the fact that cross-faction was allowed. I don't understand why they made this change. But here it is. So unfortunately, if you were doing cross-faction grouping and looking for a group, that is no longer available. Blizzard confirms Awakened rotation continues until the War Within pre-patch. Now, I woke up this morning thinking we were going to do an Awakened raid on stream here as we wait for beta servers to open up, and we were going to just pick the raid. Well, we're not, because the rotation continues. So we all thought this for a reason. Back in Shadowlands, when this whole thing started, we had 2 weeks of Awakened raids, or Fated raids as they were called back then, and then all the raids opened up to be Fated all at once, so we basically got to pick which raids we wanted to do at that point. Yeah, it's not happening now. It's not going to happen until the War Within pre-patch. The one good thing maybe, or silver lining out of this, is that you'll still be able to do the regular version of the regular Mythic versions of these raids when they're off of rotation, which means if you still haven't gotten the reigns of Anularis, or whatever the hell this is called, you know, the Flaming Owl, you still got a chance at getting it by killing Mythic Ferox. So it's currently off of rotation. You can do that this week, and you'll continue to get shots to kill these bosses on a regular Mythic basis outside of the Awakened rotation. So I guess we can look for some positives out of this. I really thought all three were going to be Awakened, and I was kind of excited for it. But there it is. Mr. GM discovered some interesting stuff here from the War Within pre-patch. There is a new quest icon indicator that indicates basically when you are currently progressing on a quest. So after you pick it up, it looks like these 3 dots are going to be posted up above the NPC's head, which is kind of nice for quest tracking purposes. You know, when you're doing the quest, sometimes you're not sure. Maybe the question mark wasn't enough of an indication for you. Yeah, but there it is. So he's accepted the quest, and now the icon shows this. Interesting. Like I said, I don't know if it was necessary. The question mark kind of always indicated. But I guess now, once you've completed the quest, like say he killed the 6 wolves in this case, that little 3-dot marker would transform into the question mark, and then he would know, okay, it's time to turn in a quest here. I'm not sure how this shows up on the map yet. Right now, I believe it's still currently showing question marks, but we'll have to see if this 3-dot indicator continues on to the map, because that might also be helpful there. Another little piece of news here, in the War Within, you will be able to do dragon riding races on any of your dragon rideable or, you know, dynamic flying mounts, and that includes druid form. Yes, you will be able to do dragon riding races in your druid form. Now, this is pretty cool, you know, a nice little thing for druids. Unfortunately, this doesn't include Drakthir flying yet. We all know that Drakthir are getting, you know, their original, you know, racial talent again, where they can dragon ride around throughout Azeroth. And this will be available to druids, but not Drakthir yet. We'll see if the Drakthir form ever becomes available, but right now, druids are getting W's all over the place with this. This is really cool for them. Last but not least, in terms of news today, Week 6, Season 4 DPS charts. Yeah, we always like to look at these. Here they are. The numbers are currently in, and we actually had some movers this week, believe it or not. So let's check out who is the new overall damage king. And yes, it is the Ass Rogue. Ass Rogue has taken the top. Now, I have to say, overall in Dragonflight, because we've reviewed these charts so many times throughout the expansion, Rogue was probably not Ass Rogue, because Sub Titty was the very top for a long time. Now they're at the bottom. But overall, I would say Rogue had the longest time period where they were the top DPS in this expansion. So this was a good expansion for Rogues. Whether or not you like playing either of these two specs, one of their 3 specs I felt like was the top for the longest. Unholy DK had its time in the light as well, so did Devastation Evoker. But right now, and for the foreseeable future, maybe till the end of this expansion, Ass Rogue is the top. That's followed up by Devastation Evoker, the former leader. Unholy DK was once the leader as well. Arms Warrior, Shadow Priest, Retribution Paladin, Windwalker Monk, Havoc Demon Hunter rounding out the top boys here, Arcane Mage as well. It's been a very melee-heavy group here, as we've seen before. Since basically the Farrak Legendary came out, melee DPS has really taken the lead on a lot of these stats. At the bottom here, we got Augmentation Evoker, always hard to track, Survival Hunter, and Sub Titty Rogue still sitting at the bottom. Again, very interesting. The top Warlock spec doesn't show up until midway through. Affliction Warlock here, Demo Warlock, and Destruction Warlock, all kind of towards the bottom. Haven't been seeing a lot of Warlocks in raids yet lately, which kind of sucks for summoning purposes. Sam doesn't know what that means. What is it? Does Sam ever notice that it's a different from raid to raid? It is different from raid to raid, but you know, overall, it's kind of nice to look at, right? You'll see what happens. Statistically, we're looking at Yggdrasil Dream's Hope right now. Now, single boss, maybe this would single target, maybe this matters a little bit less or more, depending on which raid you're in. But again, here we go. Unholy DK has been the top, no matter which raid we're looking at. You bitches out in chat talking about it. Does Sam know which raid? Of course I didn't know until you said it. Now I'm acting like I knew. What are you talking about? Anyways, these don't really change much from raid to raid. I'll be honest with you guys. Yes, okay, the raid mechanics change, but the parses, do they? I don't think so. Unholy DK at the top right now. Ass Rogue following up behind there, as they always do. Devastation Evoker, Arms Warrior, Retribution Paladin, Feral Druid, Shadow Priest, Balanced Druid. And then at the bottom here, we got Sub Titty and Outlaw. The Rogue specs, I mean, I guess outside of Ass, it's just not really viable right now. Arcane Mage sitting right there in the middle. Very interesting. Now let's see the biggest movers up and down, and there were in fact movers. Yes, as I said earlier, Ass took the lead here, pumping up one spot, and Devastation Evoker down. But who was the biggest mover up? It was Balanced Druid, up 8 spots on the charts, coming from the bottom all the way to the middle. That's nice for Balanced Druids. And the biggest mover down? Oh, no love for the Warlocks lately. 8 spots down for Destro Warlocks. Crazy to see. Yeah, Warlock's in a weird spot here in terms of DPS, but we're at the end of that expansion. Does it really matter? I mean, everything's basically going to reset when Hero Towns come out, War Within drops, and all that shit. We'll have to see how the numbers show out in beta, which is dropping today. So we'll have to look at how all these DPS charts shake out. No one will be really parsing in beta, but we'll get maybe a little indication of who's going to be the big boys going into the War Within.